Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that takes a stack of fascinating sources and, well, extracts the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight, really giving you a shortcut to being truly well informed.
That's the goal.
So, have you ever felt that familiar pull? Life's overwhelming current.
Oh, absolutely. That constant stream of circumstances, challenges, opportunities.
And just an endless torrent of information, right? It feels like so much of it is utterly beyond our control.
Yeah, you end up feeling swamped, like you're just chasing your tail trying to keep up.
Exactly. That feeling, that sense of being overwhelmed, it's pretty universal, I think.
Definitely.
But what if, hidden within all that chaos, there's actually a profound, kind of liberating truth?
Okay, I'm listening.
What if just understanding that fundamental distinction, between what we can and cannot control, what if that could actually empower you
Empower you how?
to live more intentionally, maybe think more strategically, lead more effectively in basically every area of your life?
That's precisely the core of our exploration today. It's about uncovering a distinction that's so foundational, really, but we often overlook it.
Right.
And it connects ancient Stoic wisdom with some very modern insights. Psychology, parenting, leadership.
Yeah.
It's all linked.
Sounds like it.
It's a concept that once you really grasp it, it transforms how you channel your energy, where you put your focus.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we've pulled from a really eclectic, honestly fascinating mix of sources.
Real mix this time.
Yeah, we're talking profound observations from the ancient world. The Stoic philosophers, their wisdom on control is just timeless.
Still so relevant.
Totally. And we've layered that with some incredibly practical modern insights on like human development behavior,
Right.
especially from current parenting philosophies.
Which are surprisingly applicable to everyone, not just parents.
Oh, for sure. We'll even explore leadership principles, things gleaned from, the highest levels of military command, peak performance of Olympic athletes.
Real high-stakes stuff.
And maybe most surprisingly, we'll dip into some refreshingly direct, maybe even theatrical views on human interaction and influence.
That sounds intriguing. A bit unexpected, maybe.
A little bit. Our main foundation for these insights comes from a document we refer to as 30 de Julio. It synthesizes all these diverse philosophies and pragmatic observations into, well, actionable principles.
And we've also got some great sort of playful analogies we've developed from what we call the magic garden perspective. They really help make these abstract ideas feel more concrete, more memorable.
Yeah, those are helpful. So our mission today is pretty clear. Provide you, our listener, with a compelling shortcut, a way to deeply understand how to channel your energy precisely where it truly matters, the goal, a life of greater impact, greater purpose.
Think of it as giving you the tools, maybe, to cultivate your own garden of wisdom.
I like that. Your own garden of wisdom, a place where you intentionally grow what truly enriches your life.
Exactly. And, to set the stage for how we think strategically about our lives, we can start with a really powerful idea from Kristi Yamaguchi, the Olympic figure skater.
Okay.
She observed, I always try to start out with some type of goal. Then I work backward and think of what I need to get there and give myself smaller goals that are more immediate.
Ah, working backwards. That's key.
It is, and it aligns perfectly with General Colin Powell's insight that great leaders are almost always great simplifiers.
Simplifiers. Okay, I see the connection. Yamaguchi breaking it down, Powell simplifying.
Right. These two ideas together provide the perfect lens, really, to begin our exploration today.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this deep dive into what truly lies within our control, starting right at the very roots of this understanding. All right, so to begin this journey into what we can and cannot control, we really have to start with some foundational Stoic wisdom.
Good place to start. Ancient wisdom often is.
Yeah. At its core, Stoicism, this ancient philosophy, it teaches us to sharply distinguish between what's up to us.
Things like our judgments, our impulses, desires, our actions.
Exactly. And what is not up to us.
Which is pretty much everything else, right? External events, other people's opinions, even our own bodies, our reputations to some extent.
Right. And the philosopher Seneca, centuries ago, he made this really profound observation. He said, life is long enough if you use it wisely. It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it.
That hits home. What's truly insightful there is how Seneca's wisdom, even back then, directly challenges how we usually think about time.
How so?
Well, we frequently complain, right? Not enough hours in the day, not enough years to do everything I want.
Guilty.
We all are. But Seneca urges us to consider not just the quantity of life, but the quality of our engagement with it. How are we actually using the time we have?
So that raises a big question for each of us then. What exactly does using it wisely even mean?
Exactly. It implies, I think, a deliberate focus. It means avoiding what our sources call inventing things to do to avoid the important work.
Oof, calling us out there.
A little bit. It's about figuring out where to really direct our finite energy instead of just, frittering it away on worries or tasks that are outside our actual sphere of influence.
Right. We spend so much mental energy on stuff that it doesn't actually move the needle for us.
So much. And this ancient wisdom, it finds this surprisingly powerful modern resonance in Ryan Holiday's parenting philosophy. He shares it through Daily Dad.
Okay, how does parenting tie in?
Well, Holiday dives into what children, and really by extension all of us, simply cannot control.
Like what?
He notes, we don't get to pick how tall our kids are, and neither do they.
Hmm?
Simple as that. It's beyond their control, whether they're big or small.
Or whether they have the fastest reflexes or the strongest muscles or the quickest wit.
Exactly. These are innate traits, right? Fundamental aspects of our biology, our genetics, our predispositions, things we're born with.
Okay, that makes sense. Biology isn't a choice.
And this lack of control, it extends way beyond just physical or natural abilities. Holliday also points out that external factors, things like whether a coach likes them or is, particularly difficult.
Or a boss, maybe.
Or a boss, absolutely. Or, as he says, most of what happens in the classroom or in the locker room for that matter, those are also beyond an individual's direct influence.
Think about that. The teacher's mood that day, a specific school policy, the overall economic climate, even just the weather.
All variables we simply cannot dictate. They're the external circumstances, the backdrop of our lives.
So if all those things are beyond our control, our physical attributes, our innate talents, what a coach or boss thinks of us, the specific environment we find ourselves in, the hand we're dealt at birth, what is actually left?
That's the crucial question.
What can we genuinely influence? What is truly within our power every single day? It feels like we're stripping away so much here. What actually remains?
This is where Cheryl Strayed's impactful quote, it's from Tiny Beautiful Things, it just frames the discussion perfectly. It opens up the real area of opportunity.
What's the quote?
She says, "You don't have a right to the cards you believe you should have been dealt."
Wow. Okay. That's blunt.
It is.
And
But
it's
it isn't about resignation, or fatalism like some might think at first.
right. It's not just tough luck.
Not at all. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's really about a profound acceptance that paradoxically empowers us. It shifts our focus.
Shifts it from what?
From complaining about what, we can't change those cards we were dealt, whether it's biology, socioeconomic status, where we were born, specific talents, or limitations,
Okay. Shifts it to what?
to the immense possibility that exists within those constraints. What can you do with the hand you have?
It's exactly like that simpler analogy from the Magic Garden, which puts it so well. You don't get to pick which cards you get, but you do get to decide how you play them.
Bingo. That's the critical pivot, isn't it? The real power isn't in the circumstances themselves. It's in our response to those circumstances.
And I think so many of us get stuck lamenting the cards we didn't get, instead of just getting creative with the hand we actually have.
We absolutely do. And this is what the Magic Garden emphasizes as the super important part. What is always within our control, our response, our attitude.
Or effort.
Okay, give me some examples.
Well, whether we do our best, whether we genuinely try hard, even when the odds feel stacked against us.
Okay, effort is controllable.
Definitely. Whether we find a way to maybe enjoy the process and live up to our potential, regardless of the challenges or what other people think.
The attitude towards it?
Yes. And also how we choose to act when things don't go our way. Do we choose kindness over anger? Do we commit to more practice, more preparation, instead of just giving up?
Or do we just decide to work harder, work smarter next time?
Exactly. These are active choices. They're not just passive reactions to what happens to us. So think about that for your own life. How often do we judge ourselves, or maybe others, mostly on outcomes that aren't entirely within our control?
All the time. Wins, losses, grades.
Right. This reframing is such a game changer for how we approach success, failure, personal growth. Our sources suggest that after a big experience, a practice, a game, a test, a project,
Whatever it is.
our evaluative questions should totally shift. Instead of asking someone, did you guys win, or did you pass, or did you get the promotion?
What should we ask instead?
We should be asking things like, did you have fun? Or did you do your absolute best? Or maybe, What do you think you could have done better to prepare for next time?
Ah, I see. This refocuses attention squarely on our agency, right? Our
Hmm.
effort, our preparation, our attitude, our capacity for growth.
Exactly.
It's about empowering ourselves and anyone we influence to concentrate on what is genuinely actionable, what's within their sphere of influence.
Because, as the sources remind us, we don't control the hand we're dealt. Our biology isn't up to us, nor is our place in the world geographically or socioeconomically.
But how we play that hand, what we do about it, whether we give it our all, who we become through that process that is entirely within our domain.
That perspective teaches us, and anyone we guide, that the ultimate power lies in our choices and our responses, not just in the external conditions.
It's really about taking ownership of the only things we truly own.
Mhm.
Our actions, our attitudes, our efforts.
Okay, so understanding what we can and cannot control provides the roots, right? The foundation for this whole philosophy of living.
Solid roots.
But once those roots are firmly planted, how do we take that understanding and actually make anything substantial grow from it?
Good question. How do we build on that foundation?
Yeah, that leads us directly into the next part, strategic vision. How do we transform those abstract dreams into concrete, actionable plans?
Okay, so we've planted the roots. We understand what's in our control, focusing on our responses, our effort.
Hmm.
Now, how do we cultivate actual growth? How do we move from these abstract dreams to concrete action?
You need a plan.
Exactly. We need to make sure we're not just reacting to things, but proactively building the life we actually want. And Christy Yamaguchi, the Olympic figure skater, she offers a real masterclass in something called backward planning.
Ah, yes, backward planning. Powerful technique.
It is, and it's surprisingly underutilized, I think, in just everyday life. She says, I always try to start out with some type of goal. Then I work backward and think of what I need to get there and give myself smaller goals that are more immediate.
What's really insightful there is how her strategy just demystifies the path to achieving these huge, seemingly overwhelming goals.
Right. It's not some giant leap into the unknown. No, it's a pragmatic series of calculated, achievable steps. It fundamentally transforms these daunting long-term goals into manageable, immediate tasks.
So you take something massive, like winning an Olympic medal.
And you break it down. Daily practices, specific jumps, tiny improvements, even down to the food you eat, the sleep you prioritize. Everything becomes a step.
So this raises an important question for us as individuals, right? How can we apply this systematic, backward planning approach to our own complex goals?
Whether it's a career change, a big project, a significant personal milestone,
Uh,
how do we work backward from that?
This is where it gets really interesting, I think, for anyone who has these big aspirations but feels kind of paralyzed by how huge they seem.
Yeah, the sheer scale can stop you before you start.
Exactly. Yamaguchi's approach is a masterclass in making the seemingly impossible feel manageable just by focusing on the immediate next step.
That's like the Lego castle analogy from the Magic Garden, right?
Yeah, tell us that one.
If you want to build the biggest Lego castle ever, you don't just magically conjure it up. You don't even start by trying to figure out every single brick you'll need.
No, you'd get totally overwhelmed.
Right. You start with one brick, then another, then another. Each small, immediate goal, each successfully placed brick, contributes directly, tangibly, to the grand vision.
It's incremental progress, not some sudden impossible leap.
Precisely. And this strategic thinking, it gets even more powerful when you combine it with another crucial leadership trait, simplification.
Ah, yes. General Colin Powell.
Right. A master of complex operations, effective leadership. He observed, great leaders are almost always great simplifiers who can cut through argument, debate, and doubt to offer a solution everybody can understand.
It's not just about making things easy, is it? It's more about making them clear, actionable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're faced with tons of options, conflicting opinions, maybe your own internal anxieties, the ability to just distill a problem or a goal down to its essential parts is invaluable.
That's such a great point, because I think many of us, when we're facing a big goal or a tough problem, we get tangled up in the complexity. We overthink. We second guess.
We drown in details before we even start.
Totally. So when Powell talks about cutting through argument, debate, and doubt, is he talking about like the external noise from others, or is it more that internal voice, the one that second guesses everything and just paralyzes us?
I think it's both, actually. Powell's insight certainly applies to leadership on a big scale, where a leader has to simplify for a whole team, a diverse group of people.
Right.
But it applies just as much internally. We often create our own internal argument, debate, and doubt just by overthinking or being afraid of failure or trying to account for every single tiny variable.
So how do we become simplifiers in our own heads?
It means developing the discipline, I think, to identify the core problem or the core goal, cut away all the extra stuff, the extraneous information, and then articulate the immediate next step in a way that's crystal clear to yourself.
Reducing the mental clutter, the cognitive load.
Exactly. So when you put Yamaguchi's backward planning together with Powell's simplification, you get this really powerful framework for actually doing things.
How does that work?
You envision the ultimate end goal. You break it down backward into smaller, sequential steps, and then you simplify those steps so they are clear, actionable, and free from that paralyzing doubt.
So you're just focusing on the one brick you need to lay right now.
That's it, just the next brick.
And Simon Sinek adds another really vital layer to this. He talks about the visionary's responsibility in rallying people or even just yourself around an abstract future.
Right, the motivation piece.
Yeah. He says, to inspire the hard work that needs to be done to build something is often more abstract. It is the responsibility of the visionary to paint the abstract future as if it were the tangible present. Then we will have something to rally for.
That speaks to the crucial role of communication, of persuasion. Not just in rallying other people, but even in rallying ourselves to chase after a challenging, distant goal.
It's more than just setting a goal then. It's making it feel real.
Definitely. It delves into the power of imagination and communication. A true visionary doesn't just state a goal. They make you feel it. They use vivid language, emotional resonance, to make this future that doesn't exist yet feel present, almost inevitable.
So it requires intentionality, not just in the planning, but in how we frame it, how we present the goal.
Absolutely. To ourselves and to others. It's why, motivational speakers often use visualization techniques. You're literally making the invisible visible in your mind.
And this isn't just for CEOs or presidents, right? This is profoundly about us in our own lives, painting a vivid, almost sensory picture of our desired future.
Making it feel real, tangible, achievable right now.
It bridges that gap between what currently is and what could be. It makes the invisible visible, the impossible seem maybe inevitable, at least in our own minds.
And that gives us something concrete, something inspiring to rally for, to strive towards, even when the day-to-day grind feels tough.
Yeah, you can keep that vision alive in your mind to pull you through.
Precisely. The abstract future becomes concrete and compelling through that vivid description, that shared purpose, whether the shared purpose is with a team or just with your future self.
So it takes intentionality, not just in the careful planning, but also in the way we frame and present our goals, making sure they resonate emotionally.
Exactly.
Okay, so we now have a solid understanding of what we can control. We get how to plan strategically, breaking down big dreams into manageable steps. But once we have that vision clear and we know our immediate next steps, how do we present ourselves in that vision to the world effectively?
Yeah, the outward-facing part.
Yeah, that brings us to a really fascinating and maybe slightly surprising aspect of excellence, the intersection of authenticity and, well, artifice.
Okay, this next section, it dives into how we present ourselves, and it introduces a really fascinating, maybe even a bit provocative idea from Robert Greene. Robert Greene, okay, known for some challenging ideas.
Definitely. In The Art of Seduction, he suggests that life itself can be approached, well, theatrically. He observes, theater creates a sense of a separate, magical world.
Like stepping into another reality.
Right. The actor's makeup, the fake but alluring sets, the slightly unreal costumes, these heightened visuals, along with the story of the play, create illusion.
Okay, makes sense for theater. How does he apply it to life?
Well, he goes on to apply it directly, arguing, to produce this effect in real life, you must fashion your clothes, makeup, and attitude to have a playful, artificial edge, a feeling that you have dressed for the pleasure of your audience.
Wow, okay, an artificial edge. That's strong.
It is. What's truly thought-provoking here is Greene's pretty radical perspective on human interaction and influence. He's suggesting our encounters with others should also have a sense of drama.
How do you create that drama?
Not just through the settings we choose, but crucially through our deliberate actions, our demeanor. The goal in his framework is for the other person, he calls them the target, not to know what will happen next.
Creating suspense.
Exactly. Through twists and turns that lead to the happy ending you are performing. It's not just about being charming, it's about a carefully constructed engagement.
Like directing a little play in your interactions.
Kind of. And he summarizes this with a really potent daily law. Whenever your targets meet you, give them the vague feeling of being in a play. The thrill of wearing masks, of playing a different role from the one your life has allotted you.
Okay. Now, for many of our listeners, myself included, maybe that sounds a little Machiavellian.
Yeah, or at least highly manipulative, almost dishonest, right? It seems to fly directly in the face of everything we usually hear about authenticity.
Absolutely. Be yourself. Be genuine.
Exactly. So let's really try to unpack what this means for how we show up in the world, maybe even beyond the specific context of seduction that Green focuses on.
Because you've hit on a critical tension there, it raises a really important question. How does this theatrical approach, advocating for an artificial edge and playing a different role, how does that align with the earlier focus we had on genuine effort, on authentic response, like Ryan Holiday emphasized?
It seems like a direct contradiction.
It really does. At first glance, it seems to contradict the whole notion of focusing on what's genuinely within our control, like simply trying our best and being true to ourselves.
Yeah.
How do we reconcile this apparent paradox for you, the listener?
Yeah, it certainly feels like a paradox. On one hand, be authentic, focus on genuine effort. On the other, maybe put on a bit of a show, use some artifice.
So where's the connection?
Well, perhaps the connection, the way to reconcile it, lies in the very nature of intentionality.
Okay, explain that.
Whether we're consciously crafting a specific kind of drama and presence, like Green suggests, or whether we're simply committing to doing our best and letting our true self shine through, like holiday advocates, both approaches require intentionality.
They're both deliberate choices about how we show up.
Exactly. The performance, in both cases, requires a genuine commitment to the role we've chosen to play, whether that role is simply your authentic self or a more crafted persona designed for a specific interaction.
So it's like the Magic Garden says, sometimes being your best self means putting on a little show.
Right. It's about consciously putting your best foot forward, whatever that looks like in that context.
Indeed. It's really about a conscious decision to engage effectively with the world around you. I mean, let's be honest, we're all performing to some degree in different social contexts, aren't we?
Totally. A job interview, a first date, even just meeting new people.
Right. The distinction isn't whether we perform, but maybe how consciously and how ethically we do it.
Okay, that makes more sense. Consciousness and ethics.
And this prompts us to think about that delicate balance between creativity and how we present ourselves and just plain common sense.
Right. Don't get carried away with the performance.
Exactly. G.K. Chesterton wisely warned, do not be so open-minded that your brains fall out.
Love that. Keep your feet on the ground.
And Voltaire, with his characteristic wit, reminded us that common sense is not so common.
It really isn't sometimes. So this is the tightrope walk, isn't it?
Seems like it.
Being creative, maybe strategic in our presentation, recognizing that subtle, almost theatrical element of human interaction, but crucially, not losing touch with fundamental wisdom, practical judgment.
It's about understanding when a touch of artifice might enhance connection or impact, and when it just crosses the line into deception or being inauthentic.
And knowing when to lean into the performance, like maybe for a big presentation or a negotiation, and when to simply be, genuinely present, maybe vulnerable, like with loved ones.
Which raises another important question. How do we actually cultivate that discernment, that ability to know when to engage in a deliberate performance and when to just be?
Yeah. How do we know?
Well, the implicit answer in these quotes, and really throughout our sources, seems to be through practical wisdom, sound judgment, experience.
So it's about understanding the context, the audience, your own purpose in that interaction.
Precisely. It's about self-awareness, knowing your true intentions, and then choosing the most effective and also ethical way to present yourself to achieve those intentions.
So it's maybe not about being someone you're not, but more about strategically highlighting certain aspects of yourself that are appropriate for the situation.
That's a much more nuanced way to look at it, I think.
Okay. So we've got a solid understanding now of what we can truly control. We have a clear strategic vision for where we're headed, and we have some thoughtful presentation skills, whether authentically expressed or maybe artfully honed.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. So now we turn to a really crucial question. Where should we actually focus our energy for the best results? How do we effectively water this garden of wisdom we're cultivating to make sure it really flourishes? All right, we've established the foundations: control, vision, thoughtful presentation. Now, the crucial question, where do we actually invest our limited resources? Our time, our energy, our attention.
Hmm.
Where do we put them to get the greatest return?
The economics of effort, essentially.
Exactly. And Bill Walsh, the legendary football coach, the guy who built the San Francisco 49ers dynasty, he offered an incredibly profound insight into this.
What did he say?
He said, few things offer greater return on less investment than praise.
Praise. Simple but powerful.
Isn't it? What's truly compelling here is that Walsh, he illuminates this broader, often overlooked principle about the economics of our attention and effort.
He's not just talking about football, then.
Not at all. He's speaking to basic human psychology, motivation. He suggests that often the most powerful investments we can make aren't material. They're not financial.
They're relational.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Exactly. The act of offering sincere, specific praise, it costs us nothing in terms of tangible resources, right? No money, no equipment.
Just a few moments of time and thought.
But its impact on motivation, on morale, loyalty, performance,
Yeah.
it can be immense, lasting.
It energizes people. Makes them want to do more, strive harder, feel valued.
Think about that. It costs us absolutely nothing, but the return can be huge, whether it's in parenting, leadership, romantic relationships, even just building rapport with colleagues.
It's like the Magic Garden says, it's like having a magic power.
It really is. When you take a moment to genuinely tell someone, hey, you did a good job on that, or I'm really proud of your effort, or I appreciate you doing that.
You're not just making them feel good in that moment.
No. You're actively nurturing their confidence. You're encouraging their growth, fueling their future efforts. You're basically watering the plants that you want to see thrive in your garden.
That watering metaphor. It leads us perfectly to Neil Barringham's powerful and wondrously simple saying, "The grass is greener where you water it."
Ah, classic. That's so true.
It's not just a quaint saying, though. It's really a profound directive for action. And it's a direct challenge to a really pervasive human tendency.
What tendency is that?
That gets right to the heart of our inclination to constantly be looking over the fence, right? Envying what others have, lamenting our own perceived shortcomings, wishing we had different circumstances, different cards.
Oh, yeah. The comparison trap. If only I had their job house talent look.
Exactly. This is so simple, yet so profoundly impactful when you really let it sink in. It's a direct challenge to that nagging human tendency to compare, to look at someone else's thriving garden, their career, relationship, whatever, and wish we had that. Instead, Barringham's wisdom shifts our focus entirely. Instead of envying or lamenting, we're empowered to redirect our resources, our time, energy, attention, care, precisely where we have the power to make a difference.
In our own garden.
In our own garden. It's about internalizing that agency we talked about earlier, that control over our actions and efforts, and then acting on it decisively. The grass is greener over there because someone put in the work to water it.
Right. It didn't just happen.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this principle applies universally. Building high-performing teams, water them with training, support, praise.
Raising resilient children.
Water them with attention, guidance, encouragement. Developing ourselves professionally, nurturing personal relationships.
Water them.
Invest in them.
Exactly. The colon shifts. It goes from a passive, often unhelpful, what do I wish were different about my circumstances, to an active, empowering, truly strategic question. Where can I make the greatest positive impact with the resources I currently have?
It's about acknowledging your present reality, figuring out what's within your control, and then pouring your energy right into those areas.
And that investment, it takes many, many forms, right? It's not just one thing. No. Sometimes, as Bill Walsh brilliantly noted, that investment is simple praise. Genuine encouragement, costs nothing, yields huge returns.
Other times
It's about dedicated preparation, relentless skill development. That demands considerable time, focused effort. That's a different kind of watering.
And sometimes it might be about intentionally creating inspiring experiences or environments that motivate others or even just ourselves to keep going, to push through challenges.
It all comes down to the strategic allocation of our most precious, finite resources. Our attention, our energy, and our time. Where are we choosing to direct them?
Precisely. It's a dynamic, active process of cultivation. Not just passively waiting for conditions to be perfect or for opportunities to magically land in our lap.
It's about recognizing that our current garden, whatever state it's in right now, has immense potential.
Often untapped potential.
If we choose to water it wisely, consistently.
It requires shifting from that scarcity mindset, I don't have enough, to more of an abundance mindset about what you can create right where you are with what you have.
Okay, We've covered a lot. Understanding what's within our control,
Okay.
creating a clear strategic vision,
Okay.
how to present ourselves effectively in the world,
Check.
and where to wisely invest our energy for the best results.
Watering the garden.
Check. So, the ultimate question remains. How do we bring all these powerful insights together? How do we integrate them into a cohesive, impactful way of living? All right, we've arrived at the culmination, really, where all these powerful threads kind of weave together into this tapestry of intentional living.
Bring it all home.
And it begins with a really piercing question posed anonymously in our source material, a question that demands some honest self-reflection.
Okay, what is it?
Are you inventing things to do to avoid the important work?
Oof. That one stings a little.
Doesn't it? It cuts straight to the heart of intentional living. It's about deep honesty with ourselves, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
About confronting whether we're truly engaging with what matters most, or if we're just staying busy. Busy avoiding discomfort, maybe, or avoiding the genuinely difficult, important effort. Yeah. Busy work versus real work.
Indeed. And this raises that important question that really acts as a continuous self-check for all of us. Once we understand what we control, once we know how to direct our efforts, once we have a strategic vision and a thoughtful approach to presentation, are we actually doing the work that matters most?
Are we walking the talk?
Exactly. Are we acting in alignment with these profound principles we've been discussing, or are we slipping back into old habits, distraction, procrastination, avoidance of the truly challenging stuff?
It's about closing that gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it.
Which is always the challenge, but also the immense opportunity, because that's precisely where integrating all these principles provides this powerful framework for living with both purpose and, hopefully, profound peace.
Okay, so let's recap that integration. It starts, as we discussed, with fundamental acceptance.
Accepting what we cannot control, which might seem counterintuitive at first, like, how does letting go give you more power? Right. But it paradoxically increases our power because it lets us focus our limited energy where it can actually be effective.
There's a huge liberation in letting go of what was never yours to hold or change anyway. It frees up so much mental and emotional bandwidth.
Okay, so acceptance is the foundation. Then what?
From that stable foundation, we move to developing clarity, real clarity about where we genuinely want to go.
And this isn't just vague wishing, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about taking those big dreams, those abstract futures, and like Christy Yamaguchi showed us, breaking that grand vision down into actionable, manageable steps.
Working backwards,
Yeah.
simplifying.
Yes. Making the abstract tangible, like Powell and Sinek advised. Transforming that distant dream into a series of achievable present actions. You literally paint the picture of the future in your mind, making it real enough to rally for.
Okay, acceptance, clarity, then what?
Then we consider how we present ourselves. Presenting ourselves thoughtfully.
Which could mean authentically, letting our genuine effort and character shine through.
Or maybe with a touch of intentional artifice, like Green suggests, to inspire or engage or influence effectively in a specific situation.
It's about being deliberate in how we show up. Understanding that our presence, our communication, our chosen demeanor, they're powerful tools.
Tools for achieving our goals and connecting with others. It's not about being fake, like you said, but about effective communication and presentation.
Right. And finally,
We commit to investing our limited resources, our precious time, finite energy, focused attention wisely, investing them where they generate the greatest return.
like Walsh's insight on praise or Beringham's grass is greener where you water it.
Exactly. It's about active cultivation, focusing on what we can nurture and grow rather than constantly wishing for different circumstances, being a diligent gardener of your own life.
And crucially, this isn't like a checklist you do once, right? It's an ongoing thing.
Oh, absolutely not. It's about continuous self-alignment. It means constantly asking ourselves, are my actions today, my daily choices, truly aligning with my deepest values, with my most important goals?
So the philosophical foundation, the stoic part, understanding control that gives us stability, resilience.
Exactly. It keeps us grounded when life throws curveballs
Yeah.
amidst the inevitable chaos.
And then the strategic framework, the backward planning, the simplification that gives us direction.
Essential direction. It ensures we're not just busy, but moving purposefully towards our objectives.
Yeah.
Each small step building on the last.
And the performance aspect, the thoughtful presentation that creates impact.
It creates impact, allows us to influence and inspire, whether it's our team, our family, our community, or even just our own motivation.
In wrapping it all up, the wise investment of energy ensures sustainability, prevents burnout.
Yes, it maximizes our efforts over the long haul, allowing our garden to actually flourish year after year, not just bloom once and wither.
So, in the end, we might discover that the life we create actually is long enough. Not because we suddenly have unlimited time.
But because we've learned to use it wisely, just like Seneca said all those centuries ago.
We can't control the cards we're dealt, the circumstances, the challenges.
But we can become masters of how we play them. Choosing our responses, our efforts, our focus, that's where the power lies.
And in that mastery, there's this profound dual satisfaction, isn't there?
What do you mean?
Like you get the thrill of that intentional performance, of consciously showing up powerfully when needed, but that's combined with the deep satisfaction of authentic growth, of genuine effort,
Ah, I see. And you gain the clarity of having that well-defined vision.
combined with the practical wisdom of making deliberate, actionable choices day by day.
It really is a powerful combination, isn't it? For building a life of, well, profound impact and maybe even enduring peace. Hashtag, tag, outro.
So we've walked through the Garden of Wisdom today, haven't we? We've dug deep into the roots of what we can and cannot control.
Planted some seeds of strategic vision.
Understood the art, maybe, of thoughtful presentation.
And learned how to water our efforts for the greatest return.
It really boils down to recognizing that whether it's your biology, your circumstances, other people's opinions, so much is outside your direct influence.
But your response, your effort, your preparation, your attitude, your focus, those are always unequivocally yours to command.
Absolutely.
And this deep dive, it was really custom tailored for you, our listener, to provide maybe some of those aha moments, help cut through the noise, the information overload.
And give you a clear, actionable path forward for cultivating your own unique potential.
Exactly.
And as we close, let's circle back to that really powerful final line from our source material. The grass is indeed greener where we water it.
Such a simple truth.
It is. And the ultimate question remains. Where will you choose to tend your garden? Where in your own life can you immediately apply these principles, focusing on what you control?
Planning strategically.
Presenting yourself thoughtfully.
And watering what you truly want to grow.
What single plant, maybe? What single area of your life will you choose to water today?
Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, keep cultivating your wisdom.